Greetings, friends. Welcome back to the Nerd Alchemist. Here for another movie trailer reaction, but slightly different this time. Tonight, Sam had an idea. He's like, instead of watching the trailer for Deep Blue Sea 3, which I still think is going to slap, hopefully you rented it on Tuesday, let's go back in time. Let's go to the way back. And so Sam recommended, he said, there was a trailer I saw that made me so excited for a movie that didn't live up to expectation.
Possibly, dude. I'm trying to remember if I was actually excited or if I just think I was excited.
Well, here, let me put it to you this way. Of all of the many, many movies you could have chosen, this is the first one that leapt to your mind to go back and watch the trailer for. So this obviously made a mark on you. Of course, we're talking about Battlefield Earth, the L. Ron Hubbard, John Travolta joint. So this is our first throwback trailer watching, right? So I saw that movie in theaters. Remember not realizing how big of a monument, like it became this mighty monument to failure. I remember just being like, it kind of sucked, but it was like space stuff. All right. Like I was young enough at that age. I was like, yeah, all right.
I think I felt like it sucked pretty hard when I saw it.
Yeah. This movie became infamous for its levels of suck. So I'm actually excited. I don't even remember the trailer for this movie.
Well, and I think the thing is, it wouldn't have been so bad, except for I feel like they spent a lot of money making this movie, dude. A lot of money.
Oh, yeah, I feel it. But that's what I mean. I think it's one of the biggest flops ever.
Yeah.
Let's see. But yeah, I don't know. I just remember being like, wow, John Travolta has gotten enormous. He has dreadlocks. What is... Yeah, I mean, he looks like a guy cosplaying a Predator at a convention. So this movie was made for $73 million. Almost made $30 million back at the U.S. box office.
I wonder if it's made $70 million altogether.
I bet by now, maybe.
Do you think just everyone in Scientology has to buy this movie from Walmart or something?
That's like if you want to hit level 4 of the E-meter, you got to buy Battlefield Earth. I think Battlefield Earth was one of those movies for a while that would get crammed into like, hey, HBO, if you want our 3 new Warner Brothers movies, you got to fucking stream.
You got to get it. Yeah.
Battlefield Earth.
You want to stream Dick Tracy? You got to have Battlefield Earth too.
Yeah. If you want our other movie that people forgot. All right, here we go. So Battlefield Earth 2000 official trailer #1 on Movie Clips Classic Trailer YouTube channel. Is that the one you've got pulled up?
It is, yes. Let me make that big screen because I want to see all this beauty.
All right, so we're going way back to Sam's fucking childhood for this trailer reaction.
So to preface this, I think I was a freshman in high school when this came out, so I was pretty stupid.
2000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
see.
I don't know. Whatever. But
2000 this movie came out. So I was a junior in high school. So it's weird that I didn't hate it more than I did.
And so other movies that came out around this time, Star Wars: The Phantom Menace, which I was super hyped on.
That was probably one of the biggest letdown disappointment movies of my life in a theater.
Okay, well, we'll have to talk about that later.
Dude, the Phantom Menace trailer would be mine, because I remember seeing that trailer and being like, oh my God, this is easily going to be the best Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I agree. I saw that trailer, and then I went and saw the movie 6 days in a row. So
I did too, because I kept going back, and I was like, I loved it. Like, I forgot. Like, I loved it. And then at the end, you're just like, oh, fuck. Because when it hit me with Phantom Menace was when I went and saw Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, that was
And I said, oh, my God, these suck. Like, that was my moment. Because I kept the Phantom Menace. I was like, it had, like, good music and Darth Maul. Like, maybe. If part 2 works. And then you're like, oh, God, we're off the rails. But anyways, we're here for Battlefield Earth.
We were so young during the Phantom Menace that it just seemed way cooler than it probably was. I still think it's cool. It's the best of the original 3. But anyways.
I mean, it's not. We went back and redid them on the Long Box Sessions podcast. We rewatched them and tried really hard to, like, make the case that these are good. They're real not. But here we are for Battlefield Earth, right? So Battlefield Earth 2000 official trailer #1. Movie Clips Classic Trailers YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to them and us while you're here. All right, you ready, Sam?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, play.
Strap in.
Morgan Creek. I used to love when I would see that. I knew I was getting a good joint.
When we attacked your planet,
Ooh, that looks good.
all your soldiers and all their advanced technology
What voice is he doing?
could only put up a measly 9-minute fight
An alien.
before they were exterminated.
9 minutes to
9
exterminate
minutes.
Earth.
Which is why Man is an endangered species.
Oh, that
God, Barry Pepper.
Barry Pepper. Hell yeah.
Oh, that fucking hair whip. What?
Yeah, see, this looks dope, dude. That's the whole trailer? What? Come on.
.net, dude. Battlefield.
Wait,
Battlefield
there's like
Earth.net.
35 more seconds. Oh, God.
Hold on.
Shit.
Battlefield Earth.net. Let's see if that still exists while we're here.
Is it just a Scientology?
It's just like, you want to get your e-meter read, bro? Okay. So that is the first trailer. That's pretty short. That's like 48 seconds. Probably more like 40 by the time you take into like 3. That is now redirects you to a page about it on Warner Brothers. It's not a fun old website. Okay, Sam.
Battlefield Earth trailer. Is this the same one?
Wow.
That looks like a Russian hacker.
So I gotta say, man, it doesn't look that bad, right?
Dude, and honestly, when I was a kid, I was so hyped when anytime anyone makes huge claims like that, when he's like, when we attacked your planet, it only took us 9 minutes to defeat your combined forces. I was like, ah!
Well, that's cool, but it begs the question, like, what am I watching then? So you defeated all of Earth in 9 minutes, but Barry Pepper's going to come in and start whooping everyone's ass? Well, you're like, why didn't Barry Pepper join in the first fight so it lasted 10 minutes and we win? That's like one of those weird, like, you know, savior character trailer things.
Yeah.
I look at it, and it's hard rewatching now, right? Because I remember Travolta this was when he was having his, like, he was big in the 90s. He made some really good movies. This was kind of the one where you're like, oh, fuck, why did he do this?
I don't
like,
feel
this is the movie that felt like Nicolas Cage should have done it at this stage, right? Like, that should have been a Nicolas Cage role.
Well, Nicolas Cage in 2000 was still on top of the world, wasn't he?
Well, I understand, but this feels like the kind of movie he would have taken and been like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that.
Didn't he just win an Oscar for adaptation the year before this?
But that's the most fucking Nicolas Cage thing ever, is to be Oscar caliber and then being like knowing or something fucking
he just likes
absolute like he just works. He just it's like they just send him contracts. He's like, I'll be there. Just shows up and doesn't even know. This feels like it should have been. Because Travolta with the hair whip and the voice, you immediately get this sense of, and that's what I wonder the first time you saw the trailer, because watching it now, I am taken back to these scenes of him fucking monologuing and hot stepping. You're like, oh, so bad. Like, he's probably the worst part of that movie, honestly. But yeah, like, you watch it, you're like, all right, giant spaceships taking over Earth. Barry Pepper's gonna lead a prison revolt. Like, the stuff that we see looks really fucking fun, right?
Yeah, it looks kind of like a gritty Star Wars type thing, like Rebels, you know.
Yeah.
I can't remember in the movie, the aliens, why did they look so human? Were they like genetically engineered humans or something?
If you ask me anything about the story of what happens in Battlefield Earth, it's an absolute dead spot in my brain.
Also, I think I was confusing it with the other movie called Battlefield LA, which is sort of similar.
Not really that much.
I
do remember, though, this was probably one of the first movies that I went to see in a movie theater stoned.
Oh.
And so maybe that's what I was like.
You liked it. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like, it's pretty cool.
That's actually, man, that's captivating. I don't know what's so captivating about that.
Well, to me, it's weird because I just liked those movies, right? Like, this was the time we were getting really good kind of science fiction TV shows like that. You know what I mean? You got your Stargates and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Stargate was huge.
You know, Farscape. Yeah, like, I just like that. I like that era, right? So I was just like, all right, it's just kind of a gritty. And that's the other thing, too, is I always felt really happy when I was a kid when you get a big budget science fiction movie, right? Because, like, they had Star Wars and Star Trek, but, like, it wasn't often it felt where you just get this, like, hey, we're going to throw, like, a huge production at, you know, something science fiction-y like that with spaceships and, you know, intergalactic warfare. I was like, yeah, fuck. Well, I mean, it's not really intergalactic warfare. It's galactic.
The very beginning. When
Here,
they show
it's
up,
at home, yeah. But I was just like, dude, fucking spaceships and aliens and, you know, invasion. I was stoked. And again, it was like the time when, you know, substances were beginning to enter my life. So I just remember kind of being like, oh, all right. And then John Travolta would come on and do whatever it was he was doing in that movie, and it's going like, that's the guy my mom's had a crush on my whole life. You know, that's like, I was like, ugh.
I mean, still not a horrible looking guy to this day.
I felt like that was the movie where I was like, oh shit, like that John Travolta was the actor that made me realize you lose it at a point, right? Because like my mom loved John Travolta, loved him. Like I knew he was like in the like, you know, Crush, right? He was the movie Crush guy for a while. And I remember seeing the movie Michael where he played an angel, right? And my mom loved that movie. It's everything my mom loved, right? It was John Travolta. It was
Andy McDowell.
There is a God, right? And it's good that you love him. I mean, that movie kind of contemplates like, oh man, is God going to send an angel to fuck me or save me? Like, it's a weird movie, right? Our friend, Andrew Davis, our former landlord, actually was the dancing. She's the one who danced with him in the bar, Aunt Jane. I have a script for Michael, her like shooting script somewhere. but that was the movie watching it. And I was like, oh man, my mom's movie crush is like a fatter old guy now, right? That and Phenomenon. Those were like the back-to-backs. And then this, I remember being like, wow, my mom still loves this guy. The Battlefield Earth guy.
Made me want to get a brain tumor. And I was like, there's something wrong with this.
Phenomenon made you want to get a brain tumor, or Battlefield Earth did?
No, Phenomenon. Because the whole reason he was
I hope I get it right here so it suppresses the memory of Battlefield Earth, and all I remember is the trailer.
No, it's like the dude was learning languages. Like, it's like, oh, I studied the dictionary. I only got up through Z, though. And I was like, oh, my God.
Didn't that Phenomenon seemed annoying, though? Like, because I was like, oh, is that what it's like to be super smart? You just wake up and you're like, oh, God, I have to fill my head with more information. Yeah. But it seems tedious. And then people are like, hey, come help me with my crops.
Well,
it's like, bitch, you can go to the small library and get books, too. That was a pre-internet movie. He just had to get books to learn.
It's nothing like that.
But that's what I mean. It could be if fucking Farmer John would do a little more studying. But yeah, this was a weird run for Travolta, right? But this is probably the one. Like those two movies, I feel like were successful and loved.
They were successful. Michael was awesome.
Everyone's mom loved those two movies. I remember liking them. Like they were the movies your mom would bring home, and you're like, all right, that's not the worst like mom pick movie. My mom actually had great taste. She brought a lot of cool horror movies and stuff.
Your mom did. Yeah, she does have good taste.
Yeah, but this was the one where it was weird because I knew I was stoned. I like sci-fi. Travolta was scaring me, but I know my mom had a crush on him. This was like a weird basket of experiences.
Did she have a crush on him after that movie, though? Does she like the dreadlocks?
I would bet my bottom dollar that my mom has never seen Battlefield Earth. My theory is that my mom watched this trailer and had an immediate, no, I can't stand to see John this way.
I feel like I could see your mom in the Church of Scientology.
Zaina Griffey would never be a Scientologist. How fucking dare you?
I feel like she'd probably be pretty good at it.
I feel like they should recruit her because my mom is one of the all-time most gregarious, warm, loving to meet people and chat them up humans of all time. That would be a great skill for those e-meter people on the block.
Yeah, she would probably be off.
They can't have my mom. I mean, they did their best. They got Travolta. That's the best lure for my mom. She doesn't want that tiny running man, Tom Cruise. She wants Travolta, right? She wants Michael.
The difference is your mom doesn't age and Travolta somehow ages. I think she's
if my mom watches this, you'll be in her good graces for that one. Yeah, I don't know. It was strange though, man. Like it's hard because I think this is a fascinating series to do. Going back and like, do you remember? Like I was just thinking now doing this. I remember we took a movie field trip as a school and we went and saw the Cuban Missile Crisis movie. God, what was that? It was so fucking boring, right?
JFK?
No. It was the movie that came out, and it was about the Cuban Missile Crisis and how they averted it. And I'm just sitting in the theater, I'm like, fuck, it's a whole movie about, like, white guys talking about how to not go to war, and they don't go to war. I was like, that's boring as fuck. Show me some fucking battles. But beforehand, they showed the trailer for The Lord of the Rings. It was the first time we saw it. This was pre-internet, so I remember being there, and me and my cousin Lee were like, like we knew what it was, and everyone else like, what? Like a lot of people weren't stoked. But like I remember the euphoria carried me through like the first 30 minutes of the boring Cuban Missile Crisis movie. Because we're just like whispering like, dude, what do you think's going to be in that? Oh my God, like what? You know, like we're stoked about Lord of the Rings, and then you're just like, fuck. Everyone's doing terrible Boston accents. But yeah, so these old movies have these really weird, because now we've seen Battlefield Earth, and it's like this entrenched, splinter of the mind. But I gotta say, I think that trailer is a wildly successful trailer. It makes me want to go see that movie.
It's super short, but it's to the point.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the ultimate.
It actually
tease.
does explain what's going on.
It tells me the setup. It shows me an alien, kind of. Like, Travolta there just somewhat looks like he's really into corn. You know what I mean? Like, corn with a K.
It was the time of corn.
That's what I mean. So he felt very of his time, like things were not going well for this movie. I like the idea that some executives just like, what's the craziest thing I've ever seen? Corn with a K. That Freak on a Leash song is scary as hell. Make it an alien,
Wait,
he's like,
would it be cultural appropriation now if this movie came out? Can John Travolta pull off dreadlocks nowadays, or would that be weird? I mean, it was weird back then, I guess, but...
I mean, there's a long history of white guys with dreadlocks. I am not an expert. I will say this, as a white guy who... I used to dream of dreadlocks so much. Because I have very long hair now, but I used to grow my hair long, and my mom would pay me off, right? Every summer, she'd pay me to get my hair cut. So, like, if relatives saw me, they didn't think I was, like, a crazy person. So I'd get paid off, but I always wanted dreadlocks. Also, probably because I was into that new metal scene of the 90s and shit. I could have been Travolta. I would say this. I have yet to see a white guy that looks good in dreadlocks. Right? I think every white guy I've seen with dreadlocks, it's like, that's not the look for you.
Maybe some of the dudes from the movie or the TV show Vikings, but they're also jacked.
Yeah, but that doesn't feel like a hair choice. That just felt like, oh, I woke up and there's blood in my hair and it's clumped together. Right? Like it works better in that time period.
Well, and also I feel like if you're that good looking to begin with, there's better looking hair choices for you. You just happen to have dreadlocks.
Yeah, if you're like a hideous chud of a man, you can't just be like, what's my out card? Dreadlocks.
If Chris Hemsworth wanted to grow dreadlocks, I can't even say that. I bet he'd look okay.
He'd look stunning in anything.
Yeah, he'd be fine.
I mean, it does fall into my theory of attractiveness for some people, right? Is there are people that are so good looking and attractive they can do no wrong, right? Like you see these people on Instagram, they dress like they just stole like orphans' clothes, right? But somehow they're like, look at how fashionable that is. It's amazing.
Like the dude, the singer, Requiem for a Dream guy. He always wears weird ass clothes.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like famous, like good looking people, you can just get away with that shit, right?
Well, actually, I used to think that until I saw. Remember in like the late '90s when Brad Pitt grew out that weird beard?
Yeah.
Did not look good. Did not look good.
To you? Do you know what everyone's girlfriends and mom were thinking? Oh my god!
They were thinking, man, I bet if that dude just shaved.
No, they're like, I want to use his face as a dish towel. That's what they're thinking. Like that, Brad Pitt can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, but that's different.
But that's what I mean, right? So average-looking guys, my theory is, because all my neighbors, it's like the suburban guy thing. It's like, cut your hair. And I'm like, all right, so let's just run the math, right? Everyone on our block is an overweight, chubby, white father, right, in our mid-30s. You guys all have the same $10 supercut. Right? And you all kind of have the same whatevers, right? So your pool of who is attracted to you is kind of the same. And you're just battling who's the best of the catfish, coming up to get the little crumbles at the top of the pond. If I go full hairy madman, I have a niche demographic, right? I'm still competing with the other chubby white guys. But I have a niche demographic of women that are going to be like, look at that fucking wild beast. Dude. So that's my theory. Go accentuate one weird thing. Be a niche pull.
Did you download?
So maybe John Travolta, that was his play.
What? Oh,
maybe that was Travolta's play for this. Maybe that was the motivation for the character choice.
Well, okay. So what? I'm confused, dude.
That's a very common place to end up when talking about Battlefield Earth.
Jesus, yeah. Yeah, all that makes sense. It all makes sense. But anyways, back to the trailer. I don't know, dude. Yeah, it seems like it would be a good movie. It ended up being horrible.
Well, let me ask you this. This is a good game you can do with this going back and watching a trailer, right? Young Sam and Griffey see the trailer, and we're both like, that looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
If you had the ability to go back and say, nothing. Let us think it's awesome and then be let down. Or say, hey, kid, it's me from the future. Don't be scared. Take it from me. Don't fucking go see Battlefield Earth. Was it that traumatic that you would interfere and take Battlefield Earth away?
Well, that brings up a lot of other questions, man, with this whole hypothesis. If I had the chance to go back and tell me not to do something, that wouldn't be the thing I didn't want to do. But
all right, play the game here, philosophizer. I'm just saying, I understand there's other. I have a list of mile long of things I wish that I had not done. But right, so I would never change it because I have kids and stuff. I don't want to interrupt the timeline.
I'm kind of lazy anyway, so I probably wouldn't take the time to go back to tell myself not to watch this.
All right, so in a hypothetical world where I show up at your house in a TARDIS, I pull you in. You have to do no work. I roll you in like you're one of the humans from WALL-E, right? Yeah. You don't even know you've left your apartment. I pull you out. You look over, right? Wipe the crumbs and soda off your mouth, and you see young Sam. Would you ruin his day and say Battlefield Earth is going to blow, or let him ride it out, let him enjoy it for a minute, let him think that this movie could be great?
Well, I'd have to tell him. That way,
you would tell?
Well, if he ever met me in the future, I wouldn't be able to explain myself if I didn't tell him.
So you know what I mean? You're saying in a future now where young Sam and Griffey get a time machine, they come and it's like, hey, young Sam, why do you have a sword? You didn't fucking warn me about Battlefield Earth.
Yeah. I'd be like, hey, man, remember in 2000 when you showed up and you didn't tell me anything? You could have told me not to see Battlefield Earth.
Yeah. And young Griffey's just over there like, I discovered pot. What's happening? This is
great. Like, okay, this is what I would tell him, dude. In 2000, right, what I would say is, I'd say, hey, Sam, young Sam, I'm the old Sam. What I want you to do is I want you to take the $10 you were going to spend. Actually, it was $7.50 back then. On Battlefield Earth, and put that into Apple stock. There we go.
Now you're manipulating.
Hey, man, okay, how about this?
This is the thing, so that Sam in the present could use his ill-gotten Apple stock to buy a life-size replica of John Travolta in Battlefield Earth.
You know what I would do? In order to make the cosmic balance equal again, I would put my $7.50 into Apple stock. I know nothing about investing, but I'm assuming that's going to be millions of dollars 20 years later. And I'm going to take those millions of dollars and I'm going to just remake Battlefield Earth, but better.
I love that idea. I think that's probably poor math. Right? We only need like 78 million, so maybe?
I mean, compounding interest, whatever they say,
Yeah, that's a phrase. I don't know. I don't know anything about stuff.
Compounding quadrilateral exponential growth.
There you go. So you would warn yourself in the past and you would remake Battlefield Earth. I don't know. I think this is a hilariously interesting thought experiment to go back and watch classic trailers and see what happened.
What would you say?
I wouldn't, man. Because honestly, to me, I've never thought Battlefield Earth was quite as bad as people thought. Again, I've never watched it sober and in this state. But, I just remember being like, hey, man, it's a giant science fiction movie. This is pretty rad. I get to get out of the house and get high and, watch John Travolta do whatever the fuck he's doing. And there's spaceships.
Oh, he was definitely high.
Yeah, I remember just being like, I'm not at home. This is cool. Like, that was my take. So, like, would I go back in time? No. But I do. That trailer that's a pretty good fucking teaser trailer. Your only red flag is what is John Travolta doing? But again, I would argue he's a big enough star at the time. He's trusted. You're like, he knows what he's doing. He makes good movies.
Well, we all know what he's doing. He's doing a favor. Is what he's doing.
That's right. He's doing a recruiting piece.
He's doing a favor, dude. They're trying. That was the one time they actually tried, and it failed. Because I think there's been other Scientology movies, but none ever quite as big as that.
I mean, we are seeing a rise in religious films, right? Like Christian movie studios are popping up everywhere because every time they make a movie, which seems to be weekly, my mom's like, have you watched God Is Not Dead? Archie the Cowboy trying to sing to his dead girlfriend, Jesus movie. Like, there's a bunch of them. And so maybe all the religions are just going to start their own studios. I would argue if I was going to watch movies from one religion, I would argue that perhaps Scientology would be like a top 3 to 5 that would be the most interesting. Yeah, if you take like ancient religion, sure.
Yeah, Norse, Roman is way better. Greek would be awesome.
Right, but I'm talking of like modern religions. You're like, probably that and like maybe Hinduism?
Well, Hinduism could be crazy with all those arms, but what would you consider like demonic possession movies, religious movies, like Exorcist? Is that a religious movie?
Good point.
Because if that's the case,
good fucking point. I would say because they're not backed by Christian institutions, but they are playing on religion. So
it's about it. Yeah, it's discussing it.
Yeah, that's my favorite subgenre is possession.
So I would pick Christianity just for the demonic ones.
Nice, but anyone can get possessed in any religion.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about any other religion. Buddhism. Who's possessing you in Buddhism? Buddhism would be the worst.
Oh, dude, isn't the world and greed possessing us in Buddhism? Boom.
Well, yeah, but that's boring.
Boom.
That's like that other trailer we watched.
Maybe I am like L. Ron Hubbard and I should start a religion. That sounded very profound. Until I went, boom. That's not a profound ending.
Yeah, he would.
All right. That's enough of our jaunt down memory lane. Sam, I'm saying I would love to have you back to do some old ancient trailers.
Ancient trailers. Like
that's what we'll say. These are like buried treasures. They're old as hell. I would love to do this because we had talked about Lord of the Rings, The Matrix, a bunch of trailers that weighed heavy on our young hearts.
Dude,
and
I think
interrupted
it would be super interesting to go back and watch like The Matrix trailer and stuff like that. Yeah. For sure.
Well, this is a new segment we're going to do. We do new trailers, but I like this idea going back with the old ones. So thanks for joining me, Sam. A lot of good stuff you gave us this week. We appreciate your time. I got to get you on this month, the podcast. We're doing Killer Kid movies. So I got to get you on for one of those.
I just listened to a podcast about Columbine.
Why? Man, you're a masochist.
I don't know, but
you can't watch Annihilation, but that's what you're an odd man. You're an enigma. You're a rushing nesting doll of enigmas.
I can, and I did watch Annihilation, so you're welcome, whoever made that movie. So.
Thank you. You're welcome, Hollywood, for me propping you up $7 at a time. Or $20 now, whatever the fuck it is. All right, Sam, thanks for joining us. Again, always, you can email the show, filmalchemistpod@gmail.com. Make sure to rate, subscribe, review wherever you find us on your audio apps. Be sure to subscribe to this channel. Share us on all your social medias. We have social media. Shout us out. Get at us, man. Ancient trailers, new trailers, movies you'd like to hear us discuss more in depth on Film Alchemist, IMDb battles, movies you'd like to see, what the 5 key elements are. Leave that stuff in the comments or get at us in any of the other ways I just discussed so we can make more of this awesome stuff for you. Thanks again, Sam.
No problem.
Sam is the John Travolta from Battlefield Earth of the Film Alchemist.
That is a compliment in every way. That's like saying you're the Detlef Shrimp. It's like, I still played in the NBA, mother effer.
God damn. If I would have picked the names you would have chosen, Detlef Shrimp would not have been at the top. Well done, sir.